violence, combat, competition. It's in our blood. It's in our nature to test our skills and seek out victory by any means necessary. You are about to witness a competition like no other. 36 amateur fighters in 3 weight classes will do battle in a grueling league, fighting for points and a chance to be crowned champion. With so many variables, few things are certain. One will rise, many will fall, and no one's getting paid. After 4 grueling battles, these 12 heavyweights face one final challenge. Tonight, 4 of them take one giant step closer to championship glory. Competition, it's in our blood. And tonight, that blood will be spilled as these warriors fight to survive among the global MEGAfist 12.
It is crunch time here at the Nougaty Center. There might be peanuts in that candy bar along with the nougat in Branson, Missouri. So if you're allergic, it's not a good place to be. But it is a good place to be if you want to see some violence and you want to see a field of 12 amateur heavyweights get whittled down to 4. Good evening, this is Global MEGAfist 12. My name is Derek Osceola. I'm joined by Lucille Crammelcorn. As always, it's a big night, Lucille. This is where it really gets down to the nitty and or the gritty as we have our final group stage fights.
Absolutely, Derek. We've got the big guys, we've got the heavyweights in action inside this caged, octagonal sort of shaped structure. They're going to be throwing around a lot of weight, a lot of heavy hits. And yeah, inside that cage, the only throat closure is going to be not because of peanut allergies, but because of shins to the trachea.
Of course, let's not forget the chokes. That can always do a lot of damage as well. We've got a huge night of fights, all in the heavyweight division, as we have mentioned. Let's go over some quick rules just to remind you, and of course, we'll run down the card and tell you everything you need to know and which fights you need to watch to see who will be moving on to the semifinals in just a couple weeks' time. First, of course, all of these fights, amateur mixed martial arts, therefore 2.5-minute rounds as opposed to the typical professional 5, 150 seconds, 3 rounds. You'll see a countdown on the bottom left corner of your screen. A 10-point must scoring system is in effect, as always is the case, so the round winner gets 10, his opponent gets 9 or less. Of course, as always, no to the groin, no hitting the back of the head, and nobody knows the troubles I've seen. If any of the fights go to the decision, judges will score the fight based on such criteria as aggression, damage, control, and best discourse on race relations in America, so it might come down to that. What we do know is that Group B in the heavyweight division, which is headlined by this fight, Dr. Igor Tonic versus Oliver Lehman. This is first versus second. Lehman in first with 21 points, undefeated. Tonic 3-1, 16 points. His only loss coming at the hands of Dan Rodenta in episode 7, his 3rd fight. This is basically assuring the winner a spot in the semifinals, all but assuring that, I think, as we look at it. We have 3 fighters vying for 2 spots. The top 2 make it out of Group B. Lehman has been unstoppable so far, but Tonic has been threatening himself. This is going to be a good one.
Absolutely. These guys, they are dangerous. They are deadly. They are darn near unstoppable. You know, Tonic has that one loss. Lehman just rolling through everyone in this heavyweight division. That's going to be a firecracker main event.
Yeah, Lehman's results throughout this tournament: 3 TKOs and a knockout in his most recent fight. Tonic, knockout, submission. Of course, the knockout loss in his 3rd fight, coming back with a big TKO win in his most recent fight. Of course, the man who does have the win over Dr. Igor Tonic has a chance to make himself a semifinalist as well. Dan Rodenta only 1 point shy of Dr. Igor Tonic's point total. He sits in third place on 15 points, 3-1 the record. He's got a tough customer in Damian Adder. It's the old battle between Snake and Rodent. Lucille, we kind of previewed it last week when we talked about this one. You're excited for this one, I can tell.
Yeah, this is something I had my eye on when these groups were shaken out. I was real glad we were going to get this matchup, and for it to come on the last heavyweight, pre-semifinals night. That's just icing on the cake for me. This is going to be a great match. I know Damian's had a rough go, but the Snake Man and the Squirrel Man, that's something written in the stars.
No doubt about that. And of course, Damian Adder with only 4 points. He's not necessarily safe. He needs a result, so he's got something to fight for as well. Because as we go to our other fight in Group B, Gabe Donaghy, 5 points, a 1-3 record. Guff Magnuson looking for his first and potentially only win of the Global MEGAfist 12 here in 2019. Again, that bottom spot in the group will get relegated and be replaced by a qualifier from the Hyperfist tournament, which is going to happen, of course, after the conclusion of the 2019 season, despite some original plans that came into place. Any of these three fighters, Magnuson, Adder, and Donaghy, with the results going in any sort of way, any one of them are in danger of being relegated. Guff, of course, must win, and he must win fast. Donaghy's got to hope Adder has to get a result and hope that Guff does not win. And just a lot of possibilities here. So really, every fighter in Group B has something to fight for tonight.
Yeah, more than just pride is on the line. They're standing for next season. Clawing your way out from the Hyperfist is going to be tough. I've seen some of those guys hitting the one heavy bag in the back. They all just kind of circle around it and take turns. But they are hungry, they are determined, and they want their chance in the Global MEGAfist for the 2020 season.
Yeah, I have noticed a lot of them do tend to show up, despite the fact that this Hyperfist tournament will not be taking place and during the same time as the Global MEGAfist 12, as that was originally the plan. But I guess that's the time they can come to get some bag time as they split the one heavy bag in the back. We move over to Group A, where things are a little bit more clear. Fritz Milgram, 21 points, undefeated so far, takes on the all-seeing Zoltan, a 1-3 record, 6 points. This is mostly for pride. Milgram is already through. He is guaranteed a top 2 spot, as his 4-0 record shows. Zoltan, already safe at 6 points. He's got a win over the only potential tiebreaker, which of course would be the case. But again, this is a chance to see Fritz Milgram in action one more time before the semifinals. We're going to go ahead and talk about that, as well as this fight. Lonnie Fescue also guaranteed a spot in the semifinals. So Group A, already known. Now, that being said, it's 4 points difference between Milgram and Fescue. That first and second could switch places, and that could matter when it comes to a semifinal matchup. We don't know who will fight who yet, but we do know that Milgram and Fescue will move on. But guys like Wander and Mo Volt want to leave a big impression, as they are already safe. They will be competing in next year's tournament. But we get to see some showcases from these two fighters.
Yeah, these two fights are going to be good, and it's seeding is on the line, as you mentioned. Also, for Fritz Milgram, he's been rolling. He does not want to let up on the gas. He wants to keep that momentum going into the semifinals. If you take it easy, especially against someone like Zoltan, that can really affect you mentally, and that could put him at a big disadvantage going into the semifinals if trying to get back up to that top level that he's exhibited all season long.
No doubt about that. Of course, we do have one other fight to talk about. Nicholas Polka, his season already pretty much over. He will be relegated. He will be competing in the Hyperfist tournament next season in 2020. He will be replaced by a heavyweight to be determined. He's got one last fight against Lil 42 the Answer, and I guess the question we can finally answer is, has the SoundCloud album dropped? I don't know.
I can answer that for you, Derek. I listened to a little bit earlier this week. He's got one track where he just goes, give me the beat, give me the beat, and that's the entire track. It is that long, and I simply don't know what is wrong with this young man.
Well, perhaps there will be a beat going on as he maybe puts a beating on Nicholas Polka. Again, that one just for pride, just for padding the stats, I think, for either of these fighters. You know, Polka doesn't want to go 0-5, and of course, Lil 42 the Answer wants to keep his momentum rolling. But we're going to get things started with I want to say it, an exhibition. There are points on the line. There is, in fact, potential seeding. So the desire to win and win fast still is alive. But we got Fescue taking on Wandering Mo Volt in just a moment. That match is coming to you right now. Lonnie Fescue means business tonight. He knows that he's got a tough opponent in the distant future, but it's all about taking care of business tonight. The lawn care business. Underrated fighters, I think we can say, of Global MEGAfist 12. Wandering Mo Volt. He's an interesting cat. He's 2-2. He's definitely middle of the pack. He's gotten his wins over fighters. He's actually on a 2-fight winning streak after defeating Nicholas Polka and the all-seeing Zoltan. Of course, Fescue also on a similar streak. And yeah, he's it's definitely going to be an interesting fight. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, absolutely. These these guys have looked Fescue has looked a lot better than Volt, but I think Volt just kind of needed a good push in the right direction, and those two wins, his last two times out, are really going to kind of light a fire under his hindquarters and get him to just put a little more effort in. Unlike some of his earlier bouts. Oh, eats a big uppercut, though, early.
Right off the top. Fescue going right to work. He is looking to get this finish.
He's got some heavy ground and pound, does Lonnie Fescue.
Yeah, Fescue has already... He has a way of just... I guess manhandling is one of the words. Oh my goodness, but that is a similarly sized man in Mo Volt.
Big throw and big reversal from Fescue. This is some good action early going.
A lot of heft going around there as it's taking it right to the ground.
Yeah, Fescue, I'm sure, carrying bags of mulch and clippings, and Mo Volt, I'm sure he spends most of his life with just all of his belongings in a duffel bag or something like that slung across his back. So a lot of hidden strength for both of these men to just heft a lot of weight.
I think Mo Volt would carry bags of things that would look like lawn clippings but would be mistaken. So maybe that might be an unintended way for the two of these men to kind of find common ground, but I guess not. They seem to be throwing. They've switched to a stand-up game, and this has been quite the trade-off. And just as I say it, there goes the takedown. But nonetheless, it's been showing the well-rounded style of these two fighters.
Oh, nice body shot from Volt. But yeah, I could definitely see a sitcom scenario where they mistakenly grab each other's bags of shredded up plants, and hilarity ensues.
I mean, I'm not sure what Lonnie Fescue would do. I guess probably mulch, but I'm not sure
Yeah.
what he would do with like just a bag full of lawn clippings, unless he's just going to get rid of them. But again,
Yeah, maybe just kind of place it around some flower beds. I assume. I assume he does that kind of lawn care as well, not just the mowing and the edging.
you can't just do the mowing and the edging, but of course you have to take care of all the landscaping. As we get to the end of our first round, and a push kick caught by Fescue. I'm not sure we're going to see I'm not sure these two would be going for too many kicks. I think we're going to see a lot of heavy hands, and as we've seen, a lot of wrestling and takedowns. But there is some blood spilled in this fight, and those might just be cuts that are just, again, 5 fights that can wear on you, and those are cuts that are tougher to heal every fight.
Absolutely. I don't know who I'd really give this first round to, but Fescue opened up underneath one eye, got a cut around the brow line of his other eye. I couldn't get a good glimpse of Volt's face if he's too badly injured, but he ate enough punches that it wouldn't be surprising to see him bleeding as well.
That's only the first round of this potential 3-round fight. I don't know if it's actually going to go that long, to be honest with you.
Volt, he's surprisingly looks unscathed, and Fescue with an early rush, but doesn't do much with it.
Yeah, he goes for it again. Looking at the stats, again, these fighters, I don't think any of them have gone to a decision. There has not been a single decision in the entire heavyweight division this whole season, so I guess that is none of them have gone to a decision. Mo Volt, the only one that has gone to a 3rd round, that is a submission win over the all-seeing Zoltan. Fescue, his 3 wins have come twice in the first round, once in the second. His loss to Fritz Milgram came in the second round. Volt lost twice in the second round, a TKO win in the first, and of course the submission in the third we talked about. So again, we'll have to see where their fatigue may or may not come into play. We're not really sure, but we're going to have to find out. We're going to see for ourselves as we get to, we're getting about 15 seconds short of the halfway point of this fight, and looks like Fescue has been dominating, but lets him up and seems to be favoring that midsection. I didn't see what kind of happened there.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be general, fatigue, as we mentioned. These are not the normal 5-minute rounds. They're halved, but a lot of pro heavyweights struggle to make 15 minutes. So for these amateurs, this shortened time is tough for them to really have any kind of cardio as the clock ticks down. Oh, and a big heavy shot.
Lays into him. My goodness.
Oh, nice recovery from Volt. I thought it was going to be lights out.
It wasn't anything pretty. He just kind of withstood the abuse, and he's just kind of staying alive at this point.
Absolutely. He's trying to keep Fescue as close as he can, so Lonnie can't really get any momentum on his punches, but Lonnie's got a lot of upper body strength. He's not going to be held down for too much longer, I don't imagine.
Have to believe that is to be the case, but again, this has been all Fescue's round, I think, based on just all the guard. He is not giving up that mounted position. I mean, Volt is staying busy. He's trying to just withstand this, but I mean, it's all just Fescue. That was his round entirely.
Yeah, I think Volt has a badly broken nose. It looked like maybe across the bridge. If his breathing is compromised, that's going to be really hard as this fight enters its 3rd round.
Yeah, there is a giant cut across the bridge that may result in a broken nose. We're not entirely certain, but there is quite a chance of that.
Yeah, I think that big, it was sort of a slashing elbow, but also just a big hammer of an elbow right across the bridge of the nose that really messed up Wander and Bo.
Don't come back with the hookies, lean him back.
Absolutely brutal. We go to a third round again, the first time Lonnie Fescue has seen the third round
Let's go, guys.
in any of these fights. Mo Volt has been this far so far, and again, starts out with a good combination. Again, maybe this is what he wants to do. He wants to keep it standing. I mean, when it got to the ground, and as he goes right to those back again, gets tripped up, and in goes Fescue. But again, Volt a bit splyer this time.
Yeah, I think Volt's best chances are keeping the fight standing as he lands a big uppercut and a big diving punch.
Unbelievable. We're seeing that, and he's fighting back, and again, but the more the longer it stays on the ground, it's Fescue's fight, but Volt is giving it his all.
Yeah, Volt is he needs to avoid those kicks. They're getting caught by. Oh, nice. I think Fescue might have been going for a takedown, but Volt just denied it and took his back. That was impressive.
I'm not sure. It was not a typical sort of thing you expect to see, but no doubt it's it's working, except for the fact that he's back on his he's back on his back again. So.
Kimura attempt for Volt. I don't know if he can isolate and lock it down though. These guys are pretty tired. They're pretty slippery with sweat and blood.
This would be the time to do it, I think, at this point, because it's got to be Fescue's fight at this juncture. But I'm thinking there might be that's the only chance I think maybe he has to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if this does go to the judges, I would, unless something crazy happens for Volt, I think Fescue's got this. But we saw a pretty ridiculous decision last week, so you never can tell with these Missouri judges.
It is hard to tell. We're not entirely certain, but again, we have to look into this and see. And that's. Another
Kimura attempt. I was going to say these guys look tired enough to just kind of maybe ride out the rest of the round, but Volt is searching for that finish. He just can't quite get a good grip.
Yeah, it's not looking very good for Mo Volt. I think it's a noble effort. We're going to go to a decision for the first time in the heavyweight division. And you can see just how tired they both are. Volt seems, I don't know if he seems happy. Fescue seems upset. I think just not having been, not being used to this level of cardio, maybe this gets in the way. But that might be more of a taxing performance than I think Fescue would have wanted, with a semifinal looming in the distance.
I also think Fescue might be a little upset. His eyes are pretty badly swollen. He might have to use the steaks he was planning on grilling this weekend to reduce the swelling in his eyes. Then that can frustrate anybody.
Oh, no doubt about that. That's going to be interesting to see. We have a decision pending. Our judges factoring in all sorts of matters to this fight. You have to think it would be Fescue, but the winner comes in. It is. It's Lonnie Fescue. A decision win, 3 points, and that will solidify second place for Lonnie Fescue. As Fritz Milgram already at 21. Even with a loss, Milgram will be the group winner.
Those are some bad cuts on Fescue. He's got to hope they heal up in a few weeks' time.
No doubt about that. That's going to have to be a focus for him and for whomever he decides to use to clean that up. I imagine health insurance of some sort. Coming up next, though, it's the group winner of A, Fritz Milgram, in action. Fritz Milgram has been absolutely unstoppable. He's got it coursing through his veins. The power, the electricity, and he is a deadly combination of power. And his opponent, the all-seeing Zoltan, Resident Psychic. Understand, putting up an automated system, maybe a coin-operated sort of thing, and maybe gives out psychic advices, but I'm not entirely sure how well that's going to work. Looking at the tail of the tape, there's a weight advantage and a mild height advantage on Fritz Milgram, but not maybe. I don't know. Do you think that's enough to really make a difference in this fight?
The height is negligible, but that weight, that's a pretty decent gap, especially for heavyweights. Milgram's been able to handle some of these heavy blows these other heavyweights have thrown his way, and Zoltan just hasn't at his somewhat smaller size. But he does have that one first-round finish, so he's still deadly even with his losses. Any heavyweight is dangerous.
Zoltan, again, a 15-pound difference. That's literally an entire weight class of difference as you get further down in how it is determined. Zoltan's again, his ability to withstand,
in effect here.
His only win, a TKO win in the first round, but has lost via TKO, knockout, and submission. So it's one of those things where you hate to say from Milgram's. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I saw something good there.
I was just gonna say, Zoltan is showing he's got some solid hands with his, just laying into Milgram. It's pretty surprising.
And but he eats a big left hand from the southpaw Milgram. This could be. He just covers up. He's done. It's over. And that is a big 6 points and an exclamation point on the group stage. But perhaps the most dangerous man in the heavyweight division, the winner of Group A, Fritz Milgram. What a finish. That's honestly what we've come to expect from Fritz Milgram. Just he sees someone hurt and he pounces. He does not let them get a chance to recover. He just swarms and lands blows until the ref drags him away. No doubt about that. It will be interesting to see. Fritz Milgram is in for quite the matchup. There are 3 potential opponents for him in the semifinals. Same goes for Lonnie Fescue. We won't really know the identity of any of them until some of those fights start to take shape. But we have another one coming up. We're going to switch over to Group B. Neither of these fighters in contention for the semifinals, but perhaps fighting for their tournament lives, as Gabe Donaghy and Guff Magnuson will do battle. Guff Magnuson needs a result, and he needs a big one to avoid relegation. Take a quick break from the action and tell you all about the way the Global MEGAfist 12 shakes out. If you're unfamiliar, here's a quick tutorial.
The Global MEGAfist 12 is a grueling competition like nothing ever seen before in mixed martial arts. First, the 12 fighters are drawn at random into 2 groups of 6 fighters each. Each fighter will face off against the other 5 in their group. A win is worth 3 points, while a draw is worth 1. In addition, bonus points are awarded for how fast a fight is won. Winning in the third round is worth 4 total points, a second round win is worth 5, and finishing a fight in the first round gets you 6 points in all. After all 5 rounds of competition, the 2 fighters who finish in last place are relegated from Global MEGAfist 12 and must earn their way back in next season. They will be replaced by 2 fighters from the HyperFist qualifying tournament. The 2 fifth-place fighters will be matched up against 2 more fighters from the HyperFist qualifiers, with the winners earning their spot in next season's Global MEGAfist 12. The top 2 fighters from each group advance to the semifinals, where the first-place fighter from each group will take on the second-place fighter from the other. The winners of these fights will do battle for the championship. It all comes down to one thing: win, and win fast. And the title of Global MEGAfist 12 champion awaits.
Magnuson has yet to get his win here in Global MEGAfist 12. Pride would have to be on the line for him. He doesn't want to go 0-5. School security guard needs to make an impression. His opponent, Gabe Donahue. Well, Gabe Donahue looked a little on the dangerous side from the start. Kind of slipped. Got his second. Got his win in his only win in his second fight against Damian Adder, fellow struggling fighter, both at 1-3. 5 points. So again, just to give you an idea, the way this works out, as we are seeing Gabe Donahue giving up quite the disadvantage to Guff Magnuson. That is a big difference in height, weight, and reach, and especially the top priority on Disney Plus.
I'm not even sure what puppet talk show he's referring to off the top of my head.
Are you ready?
Yeah. But it's interesting, in the previous fight, Milgram used his, he didn't have a lot of size on Zoltan, but he had enough weight to make it count. But Magnuson has been stymied despite having a pretty good size against most of his opponents. He just can't seem to find anything that works against anybody. It's kind of baffling.
And again, of course, it's a tiring job working security especially at an elementary school. That seems just. And again, he just goes right for it. Please talk us through what we just saw.
Yeah. Very quick a Kimura attempt from Donahue. He's really looking to crank that shoulder joint if he can isolate, but Magnuson survives. That was a quick submission attempt. I was a little taken aback by that myself.
Yeah, Donahue's only win a submission win in the second round, just towards the end of the second round against Damian Adder. We're talking about this. Just to give a quick recap. So the current standings going into tonight's fights. Donahue is on 5 points, Adder on 4, and Guff Magnuson on 0. So a decision, even if Guff Magnuson were to win by decision, that would not be enough. Donahue is the safest one of the 3 on 5 points. Oh, and an uppercut like that is an easy way to do that. I mean, if nothing else, Donahue just has to survive. Just take this fight into the late rounds, but I think, he might just want to go for an easy win. What would the strategy be, would you think, Lucille, to Do you just go for the win no matter what, potentially leaving yourself open, or do you just play conservatively and do what you have to do to stay alive?
Well, you can't just go too aggressive because, at heavyweight, I mean, the wrong moment, you're going to get knocked completely unconscious. If I were Donaghy and there's, nothing really to win, but everything to lose, I would play it a lot safer than he is right now. But sometimes that's not an option, if he has that submission win, but, you don't want to give up position and have a big guy like Guff Magnuson able to just rain down blows. And I think Donaghy's bleeding in a couple of places already from some of these punches. So
hard to say from the angle we're seeing. There's definitely blood. Yeah, it looks like from the outside corner of his right eye. That could be a dangerous spot if it leaks into the eye. But that's the end of the first round. Good strategy, as you pointed out. And there's a giant cut on the cheekbone of Guff Magnuson. That won't be too dangerous, but it'll just, again, you obviously don't want to be bleeding too heavily. That will, again, just kind of exhaust you and take all your energy from you, but it should be an easy cut to take care of.
Yeah, it won't really affect the fight. If anything, it's, it's a chance to look badass if it heals in a cool scar. But I think Guff and Donaghy both have perhaps cuts or maybe split lips. I thought I saw some blood coming from the mouth. Unless that's maybe
might have been that uppercut that did it.
Yeah, unless it's maybe a tooth knocked a little loose, or maybe even something even more devastating. A break in the jaw or something could potentially cause that.
The corner seems to have done a good job with Donaghy. Not much of a mark I see at this point. The cut's clearly taken care of. Magnuson similarly. You gotta imagine it'll only be time. Those cuts can only be protected so long until they open up again. We'll have to see. And a good sprawl right away from Donaghy. The ground game seems to benefit Donaghy, but I think Guff would. We've seen little sparks of brilliance from Guff, but really I don't think we really know necessarily what he's capable of doing. But ground and pound might be the thing.
Yeah. Donaghy, he's looking for that rubber guard, I guess you could call it that. But yeah, he's on his back. He's definitely opening himself up to a lot of big shots from Guff. If he's adamant about getting a submission, it's got to be from on top. Guff is just a big, strong guy, and we're seeing it here with these shots. And he's looking for the armbar. This is interesting.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is quite the turn of events. I think Guff just looking for a win by any means necessary. Anything he could potentially go for. I think he'd be very happy to get.
Oh, Gabe, he's searching for that Kimura though. I think he might not have it. It's tough to tell.
Yeah, that's fair. It's really hard to say. He's just kind of going for it. Again, this might be the whole idea of eating up the clock. A win in the second round, 5 points. And that is not good enough for Donaghy. Would not be safe necessarily. Donaghy would be happy if this goes to the third round. It would at the very least put him in, make him safe. And, if I do some math, I think that would doom Guff Magnuson. Guff Magnuson needs the win in the next 34 seconds. Even if he were to win in the third round, I don't think that would be enough. It would just be for pride. 4 points at the very worst. At the very best, he would be tying Damian Adder and would lose the tiebreaker, which of course is the head-to-head.
Yeah, this is
not looking good for. This is not looking good for Guff.
Nah, he's I don't know if he's thinking about that, if he's just thinking about getting his first win, if he's just thinking about the fight devoid of all record implications, if he's we'll have to see how he comes out in this third round. He he has nothing to win at this point, other than I guess the pride of winning one fight. But
agreed on that
he's-
one. Yeah, he is unfortunately.
We're not going to see him next
yeah,
year.
Yeah, Guff Magnuson unfortunately has been relegated to the Hyper Fist. Obviously, should he choose to continue, that's always an option for some of these fighters if they don't want to continue in. Imagine they Guff Magnuson, they retire to a life of elementary school security. But I feel like there is a good opportunity to see Guff Magnuson, a stronger Guff Magnuson, perhaps make his way back into the Global MEGAfist 12. Again, if you're his corner, I don't think you even mention that. I mean, again, this is a lot. We have the luxury of sitting here watching, not competing in the fight. We can do the math. We can keep the notes in front of us to know what needs to be done. I mean, I'm sure Guff knew that going in, or at least someone told him that. But it's not the time now to think about it, especially when you don't want to think suddenly this fight is meaningless when you're in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, that any kind of mental lapse like that is definitely a quick way to get very badly hurt by your opponent if you lose focus for a second. And Guff is not losing focus; he is landing powerful shots from this top position.
That he has, and this is he has gone right into the mounted position. We'll see. He's suddenly a fire lit under Guff, but Donaghy is on the defensive.
First position, and Donaghy thought he had a mount for a second, but Guff is making his move.
He's proving himself a difficult out. Like, that is the thing. It's an 0-4 record, but Guff has not been an easy win for anyone in the Global MEGAfist. I'm just looking at unfortunately his losses. He has not been finished earlier than the second round. See, as he goes halfway into the third round of action.
Oh my God!
Oh, there it is! Oh God! Oh, he's punching out his blood! He just punched out so much of his blood!
That is a lot of aggression and frustration just being exerted by Guff Magnuson. Wow.
Well, the chapter may be closed on Guff Magnuson for 2019, but he ended it with quite an exclamation point and slamming the book shut. And instead of a cloud of dust, it was little splurts of blood out of the face of Gabe Donaghy. A sickening knockout.
Holy cow.
And Gabe Donaghy will compete in the 2020 Global MEGAfist 12, but I don't know if he feels like he wants to celebrate that right now. Guff Magnuson, what a way to go out for Guff. What a win. That was impressive.
That was one of the most violent knockouts and follow-up shots I've seen in a while in this Global MEGAfist 2019 season.
Who knows? That might be something to build on for Guff Magnuson. Take the Hyper Fist, use it to recapture some greatness. But coming up next, we have another fight that has no implication on the semifinals or relegation. It's Polka and Little 42 the answer. Christmas time, the shopping days are dwindling down. Many of us don't even want to think about that. But with Black Friday looming in the distance, Nicholas Polka will be ready to go to work. has only one pair of fighting shorts. We're not, we weren't sure if it was 2020 now suddenly for November 13th, but I guess it's out as you told me, and it was just that one track. But I guess that constitutes an album. I don't know. Fair.
Ready? You ready?
That's fair. None of us really. Yeah, I think it's best that we just
Let's fight!
keep it as a question unanswered.
1-6!
Distance will only be so much as he has, in fact, solidified his spot in the 2020 Global MEGAfist 12, of course, by being, he can finish currently, look at his, let's see, tiebreaker. He is guaranteed, at the very least, a third place spot, which is nothing to sneeze at, of course, in this. Does have a win over Wandering Mo Bolt. Of course, even if he were to lose, put them both on 10 points, and he has that tiebreaker. Of course, a win for Lil 42 would put him in third place all alone. So again, just missing out on the semifinals, but more to play for in the next year.
1-2, let's go! Shot, go! 9-2!
His decision to wear like a repurposed Santa suit in the cage as well. And might need to reevaluate his health benefits and insurance premiums. What a knockout that was. Big switch kick from Lil 42, the answer. That was a lead left kick to the side of the head, the temple, and the bells that are ringing in the head of Nicholas Polka. Well, they're not Christmas bells. They are just the ringing of an ear. Wow. You know, I was going to say, for a SoundCloud rapper like Lil 42, the answer, he seems to have warmed up to this format. I think, he might be kind of into this Global MEGAfist 12. I think there could be big things ahead for Lil 42, the answer.
and make it dirty, and he's able to come back from a loss and win, which is very impressive.
No doubt about that. Again, sorry, we were having a little bit of microphone issues. I apologize for those who were having issues hearing some of us. Again, we're going to talk about a quick moment. After that was a huge knockout from Lil 42, the answer. Coming up in just a minute, it is a big fight with big implications. Dan Rodenta, Damian Adder. Adder, of course, safe, is not going to be relegated from Group B. Dan Rodenta needs a win and potentially some help, but Rodenta has a chance to make the semifinals. That's coming up in just a moment. But we're going to talk about what's coming up in our next episode. That is next week. Of course, ignore the date up at the top. That is actually going to be next week, November 26th, 8:30 p.m. The middleweights take the stage for their final group stage battle. Looking at what we're seeing here, Lucille Group A has 4 fighters in contention. The Tumor of Justice, Ken Dahl, Gordon Wu, Dale Branston. Any combination of those 4 fighters could be in the semifinals.
Yeah, this is a wide open bracket. It's the Tumor of Justice stormed out early in Group A, but the other guys have kept pace pretty well. A lot to fight for. Again, some more than others. Shry is he's clinging on just for a point of pride, but all these fights have something interesting happening. Dahl and Justice, that's going to be outstanding. Wu and Bay, wow, I am really excited for next week with these middleweights. They have proven time and again that they are some amazing fighters.
It's a very interesting one. Again, just to clarify, Wilhelm Schrei has in fact solidified relegation. He is it's unfortunately the one fighter who doesn't really have anything to compete for. Donnie Bay at 6 points, unable to make his way up into the top 2. However, Dale Branston on 9, Gordon Wu on 11, Ken Dahl on 14, and the Tumor of Justice on 15. So basically, Tumor and Dahl, the winner of that pretty much is through. And then Wu and Branston have a chance to play spoiler. We look over on the other side in Group B. President Jerome Glorioso, if I'm correct, has in fact clinched his spot. He is the only 4-0 fighter in all of the middleweights. 4-0, 19 points. He takes on Paranorman, our host. That was potentially going to be the battle of the 4-0 fighters. 3-1 after an upset from Chet Lama, who has put himself in position to possibly make the semifinals. We're going to go ahead and tell you this right now. Again, 4 fighters for 2 spots. Slovan Medovich, Grover Fuppenberg are not able to compete for the semifinals. Medovich at 0 points. Fuppenberg at 5, so not safe necessarily. Medovich needs a result. Pagliacci, 10 points. Chet Lama, 12. Paranorman, our host, 14. Glorioso, 19, of course, is through. So that is 3 fighters. Paranorman in the driver's seat with Lama and Pagliacci looking to take that second place spot.
Yeah, going into this year, Glorioso, I would not have pegged as the guy to run through his bracket. But time and time again, he has found ways to win, and Lama's turnaround. He won what I believe 0-2, maybe 0-3 early on, and has now just is knocking on the door to the semifinals.
Yeah, it's amazing. Lama has a chance to do this. He absolutely has a chance. Again, Glorioso versus Paranorman. That's going to be a tough fight for both of them. The right result going in the right way, and Chet Lama perhaps getting, he's got an easier opponent in Grover Fuppenberg based on the records. A lot can happen. We'll clarify all of that for you next week. We'll have the easy scenarios to explain to you, but that is what is coming up. It's going to be a big one. That is next week at Tuesday night at the same time, 8:30 p.m. We've got our main 2 fights to go. Our co-main event is happening right now. Denta needs a result, needs a win. He also needs some help. He's got to only focus on one thing, that's winning tonight and undoing the food chain and having the road take down the sleeve. harm the snakes, but promises them a better life. Damian Adder, again, struggling 1-3, his only win over Duff Magnuson. And Rodenta, 3-1, has been very impressive. As we go to the tail of the tape, it's rodent versus snake. And Lucille, your thought on this one? It's very, again, Rodenta is very much outside.
He's outsized, but he's found ways to make it work. And Adder, he's got height, he's got reach. He's normally giving up too much weight, but that lanky frame has hurt him a lot. And
Are you ready?
I am baffled at what he means by mice for his miscellaneous Disney Plus answer.
I mean, it's Disney. It's Disney. I mean, it's a mouse-run organization, but I don't exactly know. It's almost like he kind of went into a trance there and just kind of got excited about the fact they were nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't.
There's let's not beat around the bush. There's some weird guys in these fights, and we're doing the best we can, just being around them for so many weeks in a row.
Yeah, sometimes it just takes, you just have to kind of just accept that it's gonna accept whatever it is, and the more you think about it, the harder it's gonna be to really sort of make sense of it.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, here we are, and a good clinch game from Rodenta, who might want to keep this fight close knit to cancel out that reach advantage of Adder.
Yeah, that clinch was definitely the way to go, because I believe Adder's only win is by submission.
It is,
if I'm not
which
mistaken.
is interesting. Yeah, because it's exactly the opposite of what you'd think. Adder has the submission victory. Rodenta's wins are all by knockout or TKO.
Yes, you'd think a guy would want to use his length to keep the fight at distance, but some of these guys, they more well-trained guys, I should say, those long arms, those long legs, they can really cinch up chokes and arm bars and all sorts of things with ease. But
speaking of, there's a triangle choke, and the man who represents the snakes, he's trying to coil and strangle the man who lives among the squirrels.
Rodenta, managed to slip out. It's I wonder sometimes with Adder, his frame, is he maybe deficient in some sort of mineral? He's not the strongest guy out in the heavyweight brackets.
No doubt about that. You kind of expect a little bit more, again, a professional fighter with that sort of genetic, just natural body type, able to keep that weight. You would expect someone like that to be able to use it better, to understand how your limbs work and how you can use that to your best of your ability. And again, we're not seeing that as we go to the second round. Who do you give that first round to?
As much as I kind of chided him for some of his attempts, Adder, he did more with his moments. He had some submission attempts. He looked decent. Rodenta really only had a little bit of clinch work, really to, in terms of offense. But I'd have to give this first one to Adder.
No doubt about that. I think he got a good takedown. Yeah.
But I wonder, is Adder maybe eating once a week, just like the snakes he takes care of? Is that maybe an issue?
Don't vary from the game plan.
It might be. I honestly don't know. And again, if that's the case, does it help fuel him? Maybe that's a strategy he tries to employ as he stays hungry. It might just be a problem of being starved at this point and malnourished. But we'll have to see. That might be something to look into. I don't know much about his diet going into the fight, but that might be something to look into, I think, at this point.
Yeah, someone needs to sit this man down and talk to him about, nutrition as he's getting
he just got
devastated.
sat down by Rodenta, who is hammering away, trying to go for the finish, but smartly covers up and grabs and holds for dear life. Rodenta
That is not a good thing.
It could just be elementary at this point, but he lands in a triangle choke. Now, was Rodenta too aggressive at this point?
He was very aggressive. You know, he was really looking for that finish. But this doesn't look like Adder's got it really locked in.
No, not quite.
His bell is still pretty rung. He's moving kind of sluggish.
He's still very much getting hammered away from this ground position. I mean, he threw the legs up, and again, is this something that he goes for it again? I was just going to ask, is this something Rodenta should be worried about?
I mean, you never know. You might slip up and get it locked in, but it's looked like
We got a tap!
Oh,
we got a tap! He's done it!
The snake
Adder
wins. Oh, wow.
Wow, just as nature would have predicted it, Damian Adder improves to 2-3 with a submission victory. His second over Dan Rodenta, effectively eliminating Dan Rodenta from the Global MEGAfist 12 this year. He will, of course, both fighters will return in 2020, but that basically tells us that Oliver Lehman and Dr. Igor Tonic are your semifinalists. In what order, we don't know yet. That we will find out soon enough. Damian Adder, what a way to go out for 2019. And of course, semifinals coming up. That will not be where Damian Adder is going. But, there'll be perhaps some extra bonus fights provided to end the season. Maybe that's a way to impress. And this is the fight we've been waiting for. Dr. Igor Tonic, Oliver Lehman. At this point, it's Lehman in first place, Igor Tonic in second. They both have their way in, but it's the fight happening now. Simply put, Oliver Lehman has been unstoppable. A first-round TKO win, two first-round TKO wins, followed by a second-round TKO win and a third-round knockout. Those have been his results. He has kicks that can cuss, and he is dangerous. On the other hand, we have Dr. Igor Tonic. We'll go through his results now. A knockout win in the first round. A second round submission victory. His only loss via knockout. And a second round TKO win. These are two of the strongest fighters in this division. They are your semifinalists. Lucille, what are you expecting to see in this one?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I thought Tonic was going to be undefeated. He did suffer that one loss. He's looked strong. Lehman has looked even stronger. These are two titans of amateur fighting crashing into each other. I honestly don't know what to expect. Both men are well. Tonic might be a little more well-rounded. He does have that submission win, but Lehman striking.
Lehman knows what works.
Yeah.
And he just goes for a kick right to the face there. I wanted to be clear that when he said DuckTales as his Disney Plus priority, it was here in my notes that he specifically did not do the woohoo afterwards.
You can just tell that's the cold heart of someone who's worked in the financial sector for far too long.
I think just a big Scrooge McDuck fan. Says he wishes he could, in fact, swim around in a vault of money. But physics be damned on that one. But Tonic going for, he's right up in his grill, right up the front. This is an interesting strategy. I mean, he gives up a little bit of reach to Lehman. Goes goes for a spinning back kick. I don't even know where he pulled that one from, or if he knew if that was going to land.
Yeah, he might be taking some sort of new salve that gives him a little more flexibility in his legs, perhaps.
Perhaps when someone without arthritis uses like an arthritis product, perhaps. Makes your joints extra bendy. Well, they're going for unorthodox. It's a very cagey, unorthodox fight so far. Oh, big uppercut! He's dropped him!
Big uppercut.
He just caught Layman!
Can he
Is this gonna be
finish?
it? He's just covering up! This is the
Just
first time we've seen Layman
pounding.
hurt! It's
Holy
over!
cow! What a knockout. What a TKO, rather.
I
God.
cannot believe it! Dr. Igor Tonic, a first-round victory, has now put himself atop Group B.
Layman is upset with that decision, but he was not showing any intelligent defense. He was not moving out of the way. That was the right call.
Lucille, I think that's the first time in any of these fights we've seen Oliver Layman hurt, let alone in a position to be finished.
Yeah, he has looked so dominant. This is, I mean, Tonic at 3-1 and the number 2 ranked fighter. This feels like a bigger upset than the paper would show. But what an impressive performance from Dr. Igor Tonic.
We are going to see more from both of these fighters in the semifinals. They each have one more fight at least ahead of them. What a night of fights it has been. We're going to go ahead and recap everything for you. First off, Group A, here are the results. A knockout win in the first round for Lil 42, The Answer. An emphatic first-round TKO from Fritz Milgram, which makes him the only undefeated heavyweight in the entire group. And, of course, Lonnie Fescue getting a hard-fought decision over Wandering Mo Bolt. As we mentioned, that is how it stands. Milgram finishing in first place in the group. Fescue behind him. Lil 42, The Answer. Wandering Mo Bolt. The all-seeing Zoltan and Nicholas Polka sadly relegated over in Group B. But we just saw that TKO victory from Dr. Igor Tonic. A first-round KO that was actually a second-round submission, from Damian Adder. Please ignore that. And a third-round knockout win from Guff Magnuson. How that means, again, unfortunately, it's last place for Guff. Damian Adder plays spoiler to Dan Rodenta, and it will be Dr. Igor Tonic over Oliver Layman to finish up Group B. Lucille, this is where it is. Here's what it comes down to. Episode 16, coming in December. These are your semifinals. Fritz Milgram versus Oliver Layman. We were thinking this could be a final, and we're seeing it guaranteed as a semifinal.
That is going to be, not to put any emphasis on Milgram, that is going to be an electric fight. These guys are devastating strikers. We've seen the people they've put unconscious. This one's going to be an amazing bout.
I think if I look at the statistics here, just kind of scanning through my notes, between the two of these fighters, I think every single one of them have gotten their win via TKO or knockout. Number of knockouts, literal knockouts of knocking their opponent unconscious, one for Milgram. He likes to finish it on the ground with the punches. But Layman, again, I think also just the one. But I wouldn't expect this one to go to a judge's decision. That would very much surprise me. Meanwhile, we have, in the other semifinal, Dr. Igor Tonic versus Lonnie Fescue. This is a very intriguing matchup. I don't know what to make of this one, but it's going to be fun to see.
Yeah, this is not what I expected coming into tonight's fights, but it's going to be one hell of a bout, I'm sure. I mean, these guys have looked very solid throughout. good power, just good size on them. Very good at using their size to their advantage, and it's another pair of bulls just crashing into each other.
Yeah, the style battle for this one will be very interesting. And again, when we thought we were going to see a Lehman versus Milgram final, one of these two fighters will potentially, we're seeing an underdog make their way into the final. It's going to be one of these two. That is your semifinals. That's going to be coming in December. It's going to be a huge night of semifinals. All 6 semifinals will take place on the one night. However, next week, November 26th, this is the card you will see. Kendall, the Tumor of Justice, fighting for a spot in the semifinals. Del Branston, Gordon Wu looking to play spoiler. Jerome Glorioso will find out who will join him representing Group B. Will it be Paranorman, our host, or will Chet Lama or Leon Pagliacci overtake that spot? It's going to be a great night of fights, Lucille. I can't wait for it. I'm sure you're looking forward to it yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, anytime you come to the end of a regular season and you figure out who's going and who's staying behind, that's always fun. These fights were outstanding this week, and they're going to be great next week. I cannot wait. Middleweights, they're not quite as big as the heavyweights, of course, but they have a lot of power. They have a lot of skill. It's going to be a great night.
No doubt about that. Thank you again for joining me. And of course, thanks to you all out there for watching Global MEGAfist 12. This has been quite a night of heavyweight action. We saw our only ever heavyweight decision as Lonnie Fescue got a win. It wasn't easy, but Milgram took a quick win over Zoltan Duff Magnuson on his way out of the Global MEGAfist 12 for next year. Did it with emphatic fashion. Little 42 got a knockout, and of course, DC, it will be Dr. Ibrahimovic with perhaps one of the upsets of the entire season. We'd like to thank you all for joining us. To Lucille Cramblegorn, my name is Derek Osceola. We give all of our praise to most glorious and honorable Mr. Naga for bringing to us the Global MEGAfist 12. May he live for 10,000 years, and may we see you all next week for more GMF 12.